the special classes for the preliminary examination. As you know that the preliminary examination have 13 areas. Among 13 areas, one of the area is social exclusion. In this, one of the sub theme is other backward classes. Other backward classes. So today we are going to discuss about this sub theme. What is other backward class, or what is its definition? Okay, so the definition given by various expertise people, we are going to discuss about which castes or which castes are coming under this OBC category, what are the things, advantages is given, which commission gives the support for this other backward classes like Mandal Commission report, and what are the articles involved in this other backward classes in the Indian Constitution, like we are going to discuss in point of the prelims examination in a very crispy and elaborated way. For this, so very experienced expertise people, Dr. Lakshmi Devi madam participated in this discussion. We are going to discuss about the other backward classes provision here. So namaste madam, welcome to this class. So here today we are going to discuss about other backward classes. So what is meant by other backward classes? Is there any specific definition given by any expertise people, or already is there about what is other backward class?
Here, when we are preparing for examinations, 4 different aspects we have to take into consideration. Who are backward classes and who defined it? This is one type of question.
Yeah.
For the first question, who are backward classes? Our Constitution of India clearly defines who are all socially, economically, educationally backward, then those are backward classes.
Okay.
Then another aspect which we have to remember is how do various experts defined and described backward classes. Here comes 3 aspects. One is backward classes, other backward classes, and creamy layer people. This is one component.
Okay.
Who are other backward classes? Sometimes if such question comes, then here we have to remember Government of India has enlisted 9 different categories as class number A to class number I. These are other backward classes. Who are they? Even this also is very important.
Okay.
Agricultural laborers,
Okay.
people who are beggars, or who are having some kind of jugglery or singing songs, such caste groups.
Okay.
Tenants who are having 2 acres or less than 2 acres land, people who are doing various service occupations, artisans, all these are termed as other backward classes by the Government of India.
Okay.
When we talk about who fall under the category of the creamy layer, here we'll be discussing about the economic component of the backward classes.
Okay.
Whose income, monthly income or yearly income is up to a particular point. For instance, more than 2 lakhs rupees or 1 lakh rupees. Because why these 2 answers is when the chronological point also is very, very important. So nowadays 5 lakhs rupees per annum, those who are earning more than that, they fall under the category of creamy layer.
Okay.
So the importance of creamy layer, even this question also is important. Inclusive policies are there for the benefit of backward classes.
Okay.
So creamy layer people, since they can afford whether educational opportunities or other opportunities, so some of the opportunities, access to some of the opportunities is not available for them under the inclusive policy meant for other backward classes.
Okay, so
like
before,
this
before going to discuss about creamy layer and its limitations, so a very familiar definition is there. So as you know that Justice K. Subbarao sir,
Yes.
who is the former Chief Justice of our India,
Chief Justice of
he defined the other backward classes.
Yes.
Can you say the definition of other backward classes given by the Subbarao sir?
Here one thing is there.
Yeah.
Whenever we remember Justice Subbarao's definition of other backward classes,
Okay.
we usually add 2 more components there. This is for the benefit of the students I am saying.
Okay.
that is politically, culturally backwardness also is a point there.
Okay.
So it is not only social, economic backwardness, but other backwardness also is given. So Justice Subbarau's definition is already we have. Let us see.
So actually very familiar person, a very familiar definition also. Sir Subbarao sir, who is the former Chief Justice of India, given excellent definition about other backward class.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Can
sir.
you share that definition with our
Sure.
viewers?
Sure. Justice Subbarao Garu has defined it. It's a lengthy definition. What he says is as unascertainable and identifiable group of persons based on, he has mentioned so many categories here, caste, religion, race, language, occupation and such others, with definite characteristics of, even this point also one should be giving emphasis,
Yeah.
backwardness and various aspects of human existence, social, cultural, economic, political and such others. So it's a kind of comprehensive definition given by Justice Subbarao, which covers various aspects. Here in this context I would like to add one more point. Professor T.K. Oman, he has written a book, Social Exclusion in India. In that book, he has identified 9 categories of backward classes.
Okay.
In fact, whatever Justice Subbarao said, all these aspects we can see there. He has enlisted Dalits, other backward classes, women and people who are not having economic opportunities.
Yeah.
Like that he has given a list. So a student is expected to remember these aspects whenever he tries to answer questions on definition and concept of backward classes.
Okay. Okay, actually we have scheduled caste and scheduled tribe.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So a scheduled caste means who are suffering from the stigma of what you call untouchability, are very nearer to the untouchability.
Yes.
You are not to join in the mainstream of national life.
Right.
So general life.
Right.
That people will be considered as a scheduled caste,
Yes,
as you know
yes,
it.
yes.
So what if you want to say about scheduled tribe? Actually, before 1953, this scheduled tribe is also called as another name, called as simply what is the name of it is a criminal tribes. Correct?
Yes,
The
yes,
word
yes,
is
yes.
criminal tribes,
Yes.
because they are forced to do the crimes here. So the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe were by using a separate commission and giving a provision for them for reservations, scheduled, and they are like for OBC also any commission started about this?
It is there.
Yeah.
National Backward Classes Commission is established by the Government of India
Okay.
for taking care of welfare of the backward classes.
Okay.
And the duties of this National Welfare Commission, particularly for OBCs, they also enlist, because these lists are not exclusive. Whenever any community approaches, or we will come to here we, in the sense Government of India, comes to know that they are suffering with backwardness either on social or economic or political aspects, then that caste will be included in the list of other backward classes. Here, one more thing also we have to remember, other backward classes are not religious based.
Okay.
Even Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, even these religious groups also are having backward classes. Let me
Okay.
once again emphasize that word. Here, sir, I would like to add, the word scheduled caste is not defined in the Constitution, whereas backward classes is defined in the Constitution of India. The word scheduled caste is defined by the Simon Commission.
Okay.
Then later,
So here this is very important. So
Yes,
very
yes,
important.
yes.
So the word OBC or backward class
yes,
is defined in the Constitution
of India.
But the word is not there. Scheduled caste word is not there.
Not there,
So
not
you have
there.
to consider this, because
Yes.
in point of examination we have
that
to
will
consider.
become very crucial one.
So
crucial
who
one.
defined? We use this scheduled caste. word?
Simon Commission.
Simon Commission.
Simon Commission
This is
has
very
used this
important.
word.
Simon Commission was first used this scheduled caste name
Right.
instead of a constitution.
Right,
Correct.
right.
Okay.
And one more aspect also we have to. Constitution enlists the various castes and tribal communities. Since this enlisting of various categories or groups, communities, etc., in a schedule, that is the reason why we are using scheduled caste. So constitution have an appendage of a schedule
Okay.
which enlists the castes which are considered as scheduled castes.
Okay.
Similarly for scheduled tribes also. And one more aspect we have to remember in this context, whenever we talk about scheduled tribes,
Okay.
we'll be talking about scheduled tribal residential areas. These are known as tribal belts.
Okay.
And not only that, some of the enactments will not be automatically coming to force in these tribal areas
Mhm.
unless and until a notification is given by the governor of that particular state. So even these aspects also will become important for any aspirant who is writing their examinations. For instance, let us say Telangana region is there. So wherever some of the tribal communities are residing, and one more aspect one has to remember, tribes are divided into various categories on the basis of the primitiveness of that particular tribe. So
Okay.
primitiveness is termed as backwardness.
Okay.
For instance, we are having most primitive tribes. In Telangana region, Chenchus is the most primitive tribe. Kondareddis are not that primitive. So they are only primitive tribes.
Okay.
So like that certain nomenclature is there. When we are talking about other backward classes, even here also will be knowing something about how many castes are termed as or enlisted as backward classes. Here, National Backward Classes Commission plays a vital role.
Actually, so the people who doesn't have agricultural land and the people
Come
who
under
are,
the category of backward classes.
Yes. Yes.
But they are not backward classes just like that unless their name is included in the list of backward classes.
Is there any difference between backward class and OBC? Is there any difference between these two?
There is. When we talk about backward classes, as per the constitution,
Okay.
we see social, educational and cultural backwardness. These are the criteria there.
Okay.
But when we talk about other backward classes, I have already mentioned, Government of India has enlisted various groups of people.
Mhm.
Not only that, we have certain studies a student is expected to know. For instance, in our country, caste and class go together. Beadleman, when he studied our rural caste system, he wrote this. So, whether caste and classes are same, if any such question is there, the student's answer should be an affirmative. These such questions will be given as statements.
Okay. Cattle breeding, fish
No.
breeding, these sheep breeding. These people will not come from OBC.
No.
Okay.
Unless until that particular caste name is introduced in the list of backward classes.
Okay.
Here a student is expected to remember how many categories of other backward classes are there. We have 4 groups: Group A, Group B, Group C and Group D.
In
Under
OBC?
other, yeah, in
yeah.
OBC, OBC.
Okay.
Other than this, economically, only economic backwardness also is taken into consideration. EBC, economically backward classes also are there.
Okay.
A student is expected to know because questions may be asked.
Mm.
All backward classes are not backward, need not be backward castes.
Okay.
For instance, Muslims are there. They don't have any caste system as such.
Yes.
But they are economically backward. So they fall under the category of economically backward classes.
Okay.
Similarly, among the forward castes we usually call in our
Yes,
common
yes.
day-to-day parlance, or other than OBCs or SCs and STs, if if a particular group is there who are economically backward, then they fall under the category of group E or economically backward class. If a question is asked, who are economically backward classes, a student is expected to know this answer.
Okay.
And along with that, let us take our own state. How many castes are enlisted as other backward classes
For Telangana state.
for Telangana state?
Okay.
The reason is the number of backward classes vary from one state to other state.
Yeah.
A particular caste which is considered as other backward class in a state may be considered as a scheduled caste or scheduled tribe in another state.
Yeah.
Let me take one simple example. Lambada, for us, the Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, they are considered as scheduled tribe. Their name is in the list of scheduled tribes. Whereas if we go to Rajasthan, they are considered as other backward classes. So
Yeah.
it varies from one state to other state.
Yeah. Even in BC also, there is a variation.
Variation
So
is
in
there.
Andhra Pradesh, the Kapu is some of areas
Oh,
in like
right.
Srikakulam, Vijayanagara, Visakhapatnam.
Yes.
Actually, those people are considered as the Turpu Kapu and they are considered as a backward class.
Yes.
Whereas in Telangana, the Kapu
They
are
are not.
forward class.
Forward classes.
So this is the difference.
This
here.
difference is there. That is the reason a student is expected to know in a particular state, at least where he is writing the examination, how many castes are enlisted as backward classes. For
Yes.
instance, Telangana state has enlisted 112 classes as other backward classes. And here, one more aspect also a student is expected to know.
So already other backward classes, some fixed lists are there, I think.
Yes.
So is it fixed or for every year is going to be change, maybe increase or decrease? Is there any chances for that?
It is not a fixed one. Every year some new additions will be there or deletions also will be there.
So for this year, especially for this year, so is there how many castes are added in this OBC list
In
from our Telangana
2020,
state?
2021, in our state, that is
Yeah.
state of Telangana,
Okay.
17 classes are added to the list of other backward classes. And the category also, 4 backward classes are added to the group E class.
Okay.
The remaining one, that is remaining 13 are added to group A and D. Here an examiner would like to ask, how do you decide group A, group B, group C, like that?
What is the criteria?
Criterion.
Yes.
So here backwardness is a criterion. Backwardness under 3 grounds: social, economic and educational backwardness.
Okay.
The more educational backwardness is there, then a particular caste will come under the category of group D.
Okay.
The less backwardness is there educationally, then that caste will fall under the category of group A. So like that will be C.
Okay. So actually this is a history of these backward classes. So according to their social, economical background, so they are categorized and the government recognized those castes as a backward class.
Right.
So in the history, total history of these our caste system, so who introduced first these reservations? So you have reservations about these castes,
Right.
So first time who introduced this reservation system for these classes? So yeah.
In fact, we cannot say reservations, but I prefer to use the word inclusive policies.
Okay. Okay.
Way back in 1902,
Yeah.
Kolhapur Maharaja has introduced certain inclusive aspects for Antaja. That was the word at that time backward classes were referred to.
Okay. Kolhapur state Maharaja is Chhatrapati Sahuji Maharaj.
Sahuji Maharaj.
Yeah, this is very important.
Yes.
So who introduced first time in the history the reservations
Right.
are according to your word inclusives
Yes.
for this caste. First time
Yes.
it is done in 1902
Yes.
and he is the Maharaja of
Maharaja of Kolhapur.
Kolhapur. And what is his name? What is
Even
his name?
also is very,
Yeah, that's
very
it.
important.
Yeah.
Sahuji, Chhatrapati Sahuji Maharaj.
Chhatrapati Sahuji Maharaj of Kolhapur estate. So he is the king for that. He introduced the reservation system or inclusives in 1902, first time in the history. This is a very, very important one.
And some more aspects also it is better if we see here.
Okay,
After 1902, another princely state,
okay,
Mysore state, also has introduced reservations on the basis of a particular committee's report. This committee's name and the year are important for any aspirant.
according to the report Miller Committee.
Miller Committee.
Yeah.
Miller Committee has recommended for the reservations, and this was done by the Mysore state in the year 1921.
Yes.
And one more aspect a student is expected to remember, these reservations not only meant for backward classes, but scheduled castes also are there. And here one more topic or one more word also is used, non-Brahmin castes.
Okay,
So Brahmins and non-Brahmins, a kind of dichotomous division also was made by Miller Commission.
Okay.
So even this also is important. Then Madras Presidency also has introduced for backward classes in the same year. When we are saying this chronological order, we should remember Bombay Presidency and the year 1931.
yeah, this is the next one. So the
Next
chronological in 1902 was the first one is that Maharaja
Kolhapur
Kolhapur Maharaja introduced the reservation
Right.
system. In 1921, Mysore
Mysore.
Maharaj, that's Mysore Maharaj,
Mysore.
they introduced it.
And
the
Madras Presidency.
yeah,
Madras Presidency
Madras
also.
Presidents also introduced.
Introduced.
And the Miller Committee proposed a
Right.
dichotomy like Brahmin and non-Brahmin.
Non-Brahmin.
Non-Brahmin comes in. So Madras Presidency gave the reservations for the
Backward classes.
backward classes. These things are, you have, all the aspirants have to note all these important points as for who introduced first and who gave the reservation to that. That's a very, very important.
Yes, and chronologically, two more important points are there. In the year 1931, Bombay Presidency also has initiated reservations.
Okay.
Here, a committee was appointed, State Committee for the Depressed Classes and Backward Castes.
Yeah.
And on the basis of recommendations of the State Committee, reservations were initiated by the Bombay Presidency in the year 1931.
Yeah, this is a very important. One more in 1931, Mumbai, and now it is actually that is a Bombay Presidency initiated the reservation system. So now, of course, we can't. There is a formation of State Committee for the depressed classes and backward classes. So 1931, Bombay Presidency initiated the reservation system. So this after Madras Presidency. So that is happens in 1920s. It is happens in 1931. These dates are very, very important. After 1931, so mostly in 1935, our government also introduced.
Also, Government
can
of
you-
India Act.
Yeah, can you share that dates?
Sure.
Okay.
1931, Government of India also has introduced, or rather incorporated, we should say, reservations for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and many other backward classes. Here, other backward classes, that word was used and enlisted various categories of people, including agricultural laborers or artisan caste, service caste, and people who are nomads, who doesn't have any fixed abode. All these persons were considered for inclusive policies.
So
Of course, after 1947,
this is very important to all the aspirants. Is in 1935, Government of India Act 1935. That date is very important. So incorporated the reservations for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other backward classes. The Government of India initiated this reservation system by the Indian Government India Act. You have to note this point. Government of India Act 1935 first initiated the reservation system for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other backward classes. Okay, this is very important. Clear? Okay, and after
and one
that,
more aspect we have to take into consideration, that is after independence, we
Okay.
can say. After independence, particularly when our constitution came into force, all of us are well aware, 1950, 26 January, our constitution came into force. In our constitution, other than positive discrimination provisions like articles 14, 15, 16, 17, and various directive principles of state policy, one article it is better to remember. Article 340,
Yeah, that's a very important.
very important.
So Article 340 of the Indian Constitution provides the appointment of a commission to investigate the conditions of backward classes.
Right.
Accordingly, the President appointed on January 29th, 1953, the Backward Class Commission under the chairmanship of
Kaka Kalelkar.
Kaka Kalekar. So this is a very important. We have three important points here. Article 340 of the Indian Constitution provides the appointment of a commission to investigate the condition of the backward class. This is the first one, means Article 340. And next, the President appointed on January 29th of 1953 for the Backward Class Commission. So
National
this is
Level
very
Backward.
important. The National Backward Class Commission was appointed on January 29th, 1953 under the chairmanship of Kaka Kalekar. So these three are very important points. You have to note all these or to practice it, because when you see the previous papers, nearly twice or thrice the same question asked in the examination. So you have to prepare for it. Okay.
In this context, it is better students remember certain other aspects also. Sometimes an examiner would like to ask the student or test the student whether the student is aware of Kaka Kalelkar committee's report and its recommendations or not. Let us have a glance of what Kaka Kalelkar committee recommended also, because these aspects also are important.
What are the criteria for the backward classes as per the Kaka Kalekar committee? Report?
Criterion as well as what they said. Let me start with, here we have to remember 4 points a student is expected to remember. First and foremost one is social position. It is a kind of criterion which Kaka Kalekar
low social position.
Low social position, and low social position where traditional caste hierarchy of Hindu society. This is a criterion which was taken by Kalelkar committee. And the second one is lack of general particularly advancement among the some of the people, sections of people on the basis of caste or community. So this was used by the committee. Inadequate or no representation in government services. This is another criterion. And another one is inadequate representation in the field of trade, commerce and industry. So these are the aspects which one has to remember. Of course, later Mandal Commission and how Mandal Commission has considered caste and class.
Before going to discuss about the Mandal Commission and criteria and reports, I want to share one question which was already given in the examination. The first commission on backward class was headed by whom? So this is a question already asked in the examination. Here the options are BP Mandal, Kaka Kalekar, MH Beg and VP Singh. What is the answer? So definitely everyone can say the answer. Kaka Kalekar means here just now we shared that when the first commission backward classes was headed by the person Kaka Kalekar. So this is the previous question already asked in the examination. So after that we will discuss about the Mandal Commission report, and as you know that, so the Mandal Commission will change the governments also, as the Congress government was changed, and at the time the VP Singh led government has UPA government that was come into the force, or the total political scenario everyone knows it. So before knowing of all these things, we discussed about the Mandal Commission report which is done in 1979. Can you share that what is the Mandal Commission report and what are its recommendations about these different other backward classes?
Sure. I'll start with particularly Mr. BP Mandal as chairperson who headed the commission. He has taken certain criteria. Altogether some 24 aspects he has studied about the position of backward classes. And there he found that most of the backward classes are backward castes. In order to describe this, it is better a student remembers why Mandal Commission has started its work. I think we have to start with that. The Mandal Commission's objective was to determine the criteria for defining the socially, educationally backward classes. Once again, I am repeating it. The question is the criteria. What is the criteria?
Okay.
That there comes the various criteria, particularly subcategories of criteria. And the second one is to examine the desirability or otherwise of making provision for the reservation of appointments of posts in favor of such backward classes of citizens.
Okay, before going to discuss about that, I am going to say the very important thing is some points. That is, when was Mandal Commission was started? So that is 1979. This is a very important. And the next one, who established this Mandal Commission? So at that time, Janata Party was the government. So Janata Party government has the Prime Minister at that time, Morarji Desai. So Morarji Desai with a mandate to identify the socially, educationally backward people.
Yes.
So this Mandal Commission was introduced under the chairmanship of BP Mandal. Who is the chairman of the BP, of course, Mandal Commission? That is BP Mandal. When was this Mandal Commission was introduced? In 1979. At that time, so which party is ruling to our country? That is Janata Party, correct? So these questions may come in the examination. So Janata Party in 1979, Mandal Commission was introduced, and BP Mandal is the chairman of the Mandal Commission.
Mandal Commission. That is the reason it is known as Mandal Commission.
Yeah, that's the reason it's a Mandal Commission. So we will discuss of the important points about the terms, references, the Mandal Commission. What are the terms or references about the Mandal Commission? Can you share those things?
Yeah. In fact, Mandal Commission's report has become very important because for the first time, in a clear terms, it talked about the posts or reservation of posts in services.
Okay.
Prior to that, this much clarity was not there. By that time, the concept of creamy layer also has become very crucial one.
Okay.
So, BP Mandal Commission has clearly mentioned that reservation should be this much percentage. So, total 33% of the posts should be reserved for backward classes. Not only parliament seats or state legislature seats, even employment opportunities also were clearly defined by the Mandal Commission.
Okay.
So this is a crucial one which we have to remember here. And one more aspect when we talk about Mandal Commission, what are the criteria he has taken?
Yeah.
Whether it is health or education or economic position, all these aspects are there. And along with that, caste hierarchy and the position, social status position of people is a crucial criterion which BP Mandal and his team has taken into consideration.
Yeah, here some very good statistics. I have to follow that one. Nearly 25% of the girls and 10% of the boys from the rural area,
Yes.
and 10% from the girls and 5% from boys from the urban area. So they are getting marriage below 17 years. This is one of the criteria for the economically poor of those people. And female work participation, actually the female work participation is more than 25%.
Yes.
At that time, state average it is.
Yes.
So these are some main criteria for this Mandal Commission report.
Even after Mandal Commission also,
Okay.
many castes have given representations asking the government to include their caste name into the list of backward classes
Okay.
on certain grounds. Specifically, for instance, in Rajasthan area, many people gave their representation saying that our caste should be included because we are following child marriage. So after Mandal, post Mandal Commission, child marriage has become a criterion for the inclusion of a particular caste name in the list of backward classes.
Okay.
So such aspects also student is expected to know.
Yeah, this is very important. Okay. And in which state, so which castes are, of course, are violating this rule? Means here the below 18 years the children of could
Yes.
not marriage,
Right.
like this also. As one more statistics here, nearly 25% of people, means here between 5 to 15 years, they are not going to the school.
They are
and
not.
nearly 25% of the students as a dropout from the school system,
Yes.
and nearly matriculation rate is 25% below to the state average. These are the statistics are very, very important. Between 5 and 15 years age children never attending the school.
That is true.
Yeah, that average is more than 25%. State
That is-
average.
that is, yes.
state average.
That,
And
that
yet-
shows the backwardness of that
Yeah.
particular community.
and the dropping of school dropout rate.
School dropouts.
School dropouts also is more than 25%.
Right.
Even when the matriculation, less than matriculation education also more than 25% at that moment. All these things are showing that, so and economically, educationally they are backward. So these castes are considered as the backward classes. The Mandal committee, Mandal report committee, they identify some of the castes by taking all these criterion, they comes under the backward classes. Okay, so here we are using one word called it as a creamy layer. So what is the criterion for the creamy layer, and what are the criterion for the creamy layer?
Three
What are
aspects.
the limits?
Supreme Court has taken three major aspects.
Okay,
How much money they are earning per annum or per month.
okay,
So income criterion is taken into consideration.
Okay.
The second criterion is their educational levels.
hmm.
How many educated people are there in a particular caste community.
Okay,
And the third one is what is the social status in the caste hierarchy. It is compared to, let us say, certain other communities, higher than certain other communities. These aspects are taken into consideration by the Supreme Court, and it said that these people fall under the category of creamy layer. The word itself talks about creamy layer means within a particular caste community or within a particular backward class, if few people are economically better or educationally better, then whatever inclusive policies are there, they are working in those cases. They are having access to the opportunities. So that is the reason. Once again, I have already mentioned about this. In order to include people, government has taken so many measures.
okay,
If a person is already included, then other person should be given a chance. This is the idea behind creamy layer, this thing.
okay.
So,
So here very important is the Supreme Court defined this creamy layer word.
right.
So on 8th September 1993, and is given to the Government of India.
Right.
So we have to note this important point. On 8th September 1993, the Honorable Supreme Court of India is defined the word creamy layer. So we have to note this point. This is a very, very important. Clear. So can you say about this? So what is the creamy layer? Already you said the criteria.
Already, yes,
What
we
are
discussed
already-
about that.
Yeah.
Then we'll proceed to the structural aspects of the government.
Okay.
We had so many different ministries. For instance, Waqf is there.
Okay.
Muslims and their properties, their cultural aspects. For that, we had a ministry. Similarly, for other backward classes, their welfare, we had a separate ministry. Like that, different ministries were there. In the year 1998, all these ministries entered into a broad category, I would like to say, Ministry of Welfare.
Yeah.
A particular word is coined, a new ministry also came into existence.
Yeah, before going to discuss about the Ministry of Welfare, so I want to share one question to you, which was already asked in the examination, because so as you know that social exclusion is a theoretical concept. So viewers may feel sometimes boredom and monotony to listen all these things.
Right.
For that, to avoid this boredom and monotony, so we are adding some, like advertisements, we are adding taking some few questions which were already given in the examination.
Yes.
We'll discuss it.
Answered questions.
Yeah, I want to share that question here. The creamy layer concept refers to, this is the question, the creamy layer concept refers to, the options are here. Option A, the grouping based on social status. Option B, the grouping based on caste. Option C, the grouping based on the economic status. Option D, the grouping based on milk consumption. So actually the viewers can identify the answer easily, because the answer is highlighted with the different color. So maybe you identified answer is the grouping based on economic status, correct? This is the answer.
This is the
because grouping based on social status has a different one, and a grouping based on caste is also different one. A grouping based on milk consumption is a funny thing. So definitely you can identify the answer, the grouping based on economic status, based on economic. So already we discussed it, how many children are going to school, how many dropouts are there, how many children getting early marriages, all this comes under the economy only. So definitely you can identify as an economic status,
Right,
correct?
right.
So okay, now so this
We'll go to the ministerial
yes,
part.
so welfare measures,
Right.
we want to discuss about the welfare measures.
Yes.
The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Okay, so
No, it is a new name.
yes,
In the year 1998, they adopted this new name, and now we are having not a Ministry of Welfare, but Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment.
yes,
So these words have some significance. Prior to that, we were talking about only welfare. But after this, 1998, we started talking about the inclusion. So empowerment is a part and parcel of inclusion.
okay,
Unless and until you are empowered, you are not included. This is the idea of the concept of social inclusion. Hence, we have changed the word social justice and empowerment from 1998 onwards. And not only that, one more aspect also we have to remember in this context, that is, we had ministries and all those things, no doubt. But National Commission for Backward Classes, whatever commission we had, which we talked about when, after 1950, we know that it was established, but that was not a permanent body.
okay,
And with one enactment, even once again, we have to remember 1997, with one enactment, National Level Backward Classes Commission is established as a permanent body.
okay,
Similarly, state level commissions also came into existence. So each state, we have already discussed, each state is having different conditions, different communities are there which are backward. So in order to take care of all these aspects, in order to include all these groups, so state level and national level, these two-tiered commissions came into existence.
okay. So here very important, modified as Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment. This is a very important question to you, all of you also. The Minister of Welfare is modified as Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and the Government of India Ministry is they want to give the welfare for social justice and empowerment to all the classes, means all the castes, means the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward classes. So to give the of course elderly and the victim of drug abuse also.
Yes.
Correct. And this is in 1985-1986 the former Ministry of Welfare was divided into two, correct?
Right.
What are those things? It's a Department of Women and Child Development and the Department of Welfare.
Welfare.
This is a very, very important. In 1985 and 86 year, and at that year, the former Minister of Welfare, just now we discussed,
We have discussed about that.
yeah,
Yes.
former welfare, Minister of Welfare is divided into two departments. That's a very, very important. That is Women and Child Development is the first one.
First one.
And the second one is Department of Welfare.
Welfare.
Now the Department of Welfare also modified as
Adopted a new name,
New
Social Justice and Empowerment.
yeah, these three are very, very important. So that year 1985-86, the Ministry of Welfare divided into two. First one is Women and Child Development, the first one,
Right.
and the second one is Department of Welfare. And again, Department of Welfare and got a new name, that is Ministry of
Social Justice
Social
and
Justice
Empowerment.
and Empowerment. These questions are very, very important. You have to write, because if you take it as economy, Indian economy, Indian polity, or Telangana history, Telangana geography, or data interpretation, among all these things, the social exclusion is a little bit of a theoretical concept, and it's the scope is also very large. To know all these things, this is very important. You have to write a synopsis wise, point wise the things. This is very, very important. We have to write. We covered in that manner only. Okay. So, is there any other inclusions you want to share with our aspirants?
One more aspect I would like to share with the students, particularly when you are preparing for your examinations, certain aspects. For instance, this year's budget.
Okay.
How much outlay is earmarked for the welfare of other backward classes or backward classes,
Okay.
and what are the various costs which are included in this. For instance, our Telangana state has included 17 castes. Some of the caste names also may come. For instance, Yenati, one particular caste, very recently it is included in the list of other backward classes. A
Okay.
student is expected to know.
Okay.
Similarly, some of the caste names in Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, like that. So even this information also is important for an aspirant of Group 1.
Yeah. So here a very important thing is National Commission for Backward Classes, correct?
Yeah.
The Supreme Court of India in its judgment dated 16/11/1992 writ petition. It's a civil writ petition.
Civil writ petition, yes.
Between Sahni versus Union of India.
Right.
That's a very, very important, correct?
That case name
Yeah.
and in which year the Supreme Court has given the judgment. These details are important for any student.
Okay. So the administration constitute a permanent body, as you said earlier.
National Commission.
National Commission for Backward Classes is launched, complete a permanent mode. It started a permanent mode.
Right, right.
And this actually because of the court which was given by the Supreme Court.
Yes.
The case is also very important. The date also is very important.
Very important.
16/11/1992
92.
means November 16 of 1992. There is a civil petition was there. That civil petition number also sometimes very important.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So the
Yes.
petition is 930 of 1990. That's
Right, right.
930 of 1990 between Indira Sahani versus Union of India.
India.
So this was reported. So and directed to the government of India, state government and union territory administration to constitute a permanent a body in the
National
nature of a
Commission.
commission or tribunal.
Right.
Okay, for entertaining or examining the recommendation upon request or inclusion and complaints over inclusion and under inclusion in the list of OBC. If you want to add
Here
any
I would
OBC.
like to add two more aspects.
Yeah.
Sometimes they may not ask Indira Sahani and all that, but they are simply known as Indira Sahani case.
Yes.
Simply they may ask. And one more aspect, whether National Commission for other backward classes is a court of record or not.
Okay.
Because if any, let us say, exclusion is experienced by any person, they can file a petition before this commission.
Okay.
And that commission will inquire into the matter, ask the police to investigate into the matter, and it gives a judgment. But it doesn't have the powers of court of record. So this is a kind of critical analysis question.
Okay.
A student is expected to know even such aspects.
Okay. Okay, that's a very, very important. So as already we said that it's a case, that's a civil case, between whom, that's also very important, on which date, who they may ask, and National Commission for Backward Classes, it's a permanent body, now you know that, so they may ask that. Here I want to share one more a question to you, which was asked already in the examination.
Right.
The National Commission for Other Backward Classes came into effect from which date, which year that is? Again I am repeating the question. The National Commission for Other Backward Classes come into effect from which year? So here the options are 1993 is option A, option B is 1995, option C 1992, and option D is 2003. So the correct answer is 1993. As you know that, so as per the Supreme Court orders, so instructions, the National Commission for the Other Backward Classes come into effect from 1993. This is the correct answer. You have to choose the correct answer. That's a very, very important.
So in this context, a student is expected to know
Yes.
state level commissions, particularly about our state. What is, state level Telangana State Backward Classes Commission, and who heads the commission?
Okay.
And very recently, what activity has attracted all our attention? Mr. Ramulu B. Ramulu, he is a chairperson for the state level other backward classes commission, and this commission has prepared a list of 17 castes and submitted to the government, because of which government has added or updated the list of backward classes. This is
Okay.
one of the major activity of our state level other backward classes
Yeah,
commission.
so yeah, this is very very important. B. Ramulu sir, he is the president, of course, chairman of other backward classes of Telangana state, and this commission suggested our government nearly 17 castes are going to be added to the OBC list at our state. Here one more question I am going to share from the previous examination question. How many members are there in the National Commission for other backward classes? This is a question. Already it was asked in the previous examination. How many members are there in the National Commission for other backward classes here? So here the options are: option A is 4, option B is 6, option C is 3, and option D is 8. So the correct option is option A. So because there are 4 members in the National Commission for other backward classes. So this is one more question here. So here I am going to use one commission, as you know, that is National Backward Classes Finance and Development Corporation.
Yes,
So that is NBCFDC.
NBCFD.
Yeah.
Here, economic opportunities and access to economic opportunities is a crucial point to include other backward classes.
Okay.
So, in order to provide loans or funds for betterment of economic opportunities, we have constituted this particular agency,
Okay.
financial this thing.
Okay.
So, when we talk about National Commission or State Level Commission for Backward Classes, it talks about welfare, educational aspects and all those things, whereas this talks about financial aspects,
Okay.
like giving loans and all those things. So here, a student is expected to know the functions of that particular financial corporation and how it is working.
Yeah. So this here full form of NBCFDC is very very important. As you know
Expansion.
that NBCFDC means here National Backward Classes Finance and Development Corporation. So NBCFDC was incorporated under Section 25 of the Companies Act 1956
Right.
on 13th January 1992. So this is also
These
very
dates
important.
also are very
Yeah,
important.
So on 13th January 1992, NBCFDC was incorporated under section of 25th Companies of Act 1956. So these dates also very important. Here in this discussion we are discussing so many names, so many commissions and their criterions, so their recommendations, all this you have to note it, and especially the dates are very very important. So for example, if you say a Mandal Commission, who is the chairman of Mandal Commission is very important. If you say for a state BC commission, who is the chairman for state BC commission, what are his recent recommendations also very important. What is the full form of NBCFDC also important. So like the questions may come in the examination, you have to prepare for it. So here before going to say that the backward classes in Telangana state, so it is divided into 112 communities.
Right.
Correct? 112 communities in Telangana state divided into 5 categories. Those are A, B, C, D and E. So that's a very very important. So you have to say how many communities are there as per
The number is important and also groups
how many groups are there?
also are
So
there.
this is very important. How many communities are there in Telangana state? 112. How many groups are divided? This 112 communities are divided into how many groups? 5 groups. So this is a very important statistics here.
Sometimes, I mean, pairing also will be there. Group 1 is having a set of a word will be given or a concept will be given and pair also. For instance, Agnikula Kshatriya,
Okay.
whether that falls under group A or group B or group C. So when we pair Agnikula Kshatriya, it may be group A. If it is Agnikula Kshatriya and group A, that pair is correct one.
Yeah.
So like that, some questions we may expect. Similarly, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, 1993. This pair also is a correct one.
Yeah.
So student is expected to see whether the pairing is done in a proper way or not, because some of the questions are going to be there. And one more aspect also, what are the objectives of certain commissions or Indira Sani rules and all those
Yes,
things.
yes.
Sometimes statements will be given. Statements related to that particular situation.
Okay.
So these statements, whether they are correct or not. Let me take one example here. Let us say statement number 1, list of backward classes does not vary from one state to another state. Statement number 2, various backward classes will be added to the list every year in a periodical way. So here the question is, which of the statements is a correct one or not correct one?
Yeah, the question may be asked as in
May be asked like that. Ask.
assessment and reasoning maybe. Statement 1 is correct and statement 2
Statement 2 is
so
correct. So
wrong,
student is expected to, aspirant is expected to remember all the details. So then only he will be able to understand such questions and answer such questions. Otherwise he will not be able to
Yeah, the BC
do
welfare
so.
department in 1975 was bifurcated.
Bifurcated.
And so what are those
Even-
things?
Already we have mentioned about
Yeah.
that. Women and welfare
Women
and
and
all
child,
that.
of course.
And all that.
So that's a bifurcation held
Bifurcation.
in 1975.
1970.
So this
And
date is
one
very,
more
very
aspect also, as you said, analysis part or analysis and reasoning. There may be a question like Women and Child Welfare Department will not take up any cases of backward classes. No,
Okay.
it is not correct. If women of backward classes are suffering with some kind of situations or exclusion, then they may go to the National Commission or State level commissions for women and they can file a petitions there. They can also file their applications before the National Commission or State level commission of BC. In other words, these two commissions are not exclusive to each other. They are inclusive. So sometimes in order to test the reasoning power of a student, such questions also may be asked.
Yeah, so even our Telangana government also done prominent programs.
Various programs are there,
for
yes.
BC welfare, hostels, presidential schools, post-metric fees and tuition fees, fees reimbursement,
Right.
economically backward classes students for EBC. All these are the different things
Yes.
done by the Telangana government for the welfare of OBCs.
Right.
So these things also you have to consider. This is very, very important. So okay, anyway, so what are the inclusives already we discussed.
Yes.
So these are the various things they may ask about Mandal Commission and other things, its strategies.
Right.
So who started first the reservations?
Right.
From government point of view, when it is from 1935 onwards, the reservation system are already used.
Right.
So the questions will come. So thank you, madam. Thank you for sharing all this information. Well, the aspirants, you have to prepare all these things in a proper way and make all the information in chronological order. Definitely, you will score a good marks from this social inclusion concept from the subtopic OBCs, other backward classes. So, we will meet with another subconcept in the next session. Thank you.